Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to present the manuscript Students' Intentions for Going Green, Extending the Pro-Environmental Theory of Plant Behavior at the 38th IBIMA conference. The manuscript is co-authored by PFEIFER Sanja, STANIĆ Marina, and BOROZAN Đula from the Faculty of Economics, University of Josip Broz Strossmayer in Osijek, Croatia. My name is Sanja PFEIFER, and I will guide you through this presentation. The presentation is organized as follows. After brief introduction, I will present the baseline and the extended model of the theory of plant behavior. In addition, the major empirical findings of the previous research will be highlighted, and after that, the sample, instrument, and methods used in this study will be described. Section 4 will present the major findings, followed with a brief discussion. Finally, the concluding section will highlight the main implication, limitation, and future research plans. So let me start. It has become generally clear that individual carbon emissions contribute significantly to the environmental deterioration. Maintaining sustainability of the environment requires more responsible behavior, starting with individuals who need to limit or change their typical behavior in terms of their carbon emissions. Low carbon behaviors has been gaining scientific attention for a decade now. However, individual low carbon behaviors has been markedly underrepresented. University students can be perceived as the forerunners of the green energy or carbon neutral economies in the future. As potential leaders, professionals, employers, and employees, the students may be an important lever for ensuring transition to the carbon neutral economies and environmental sustainability in the future. To promote low carbon behaviors among university students, we need to understand students' intention toward low carbon behavior. Therefore, the main aim of this paper is to investigate university students' intention toward low carbon behavior, to explore the factors that determine students' intentions, and to assess the predictive power of the pro-environmental theory of plant behavior model. Green or low carbon behavior in general can be understood as a behavior that minimizes the negative impact of humans on the environment or enhances the positive impact. In general, being green or pro-environmental typically includes that individuals take care about saving energy or electricity, using public transportation for commuting or traveling, or for instance, using cycling, walking, electrical vehicles instead of, for instance, airplanes or private cars. The being green also include buying green products, such as second-hand products, local produced products, products in disposable packaging, and so on, or recycling and managing waste by sorting and disposing the waste in the appropriate containers. Several theories have already been invoked to understand why the individuals behave in a certain way, including the theory of plant behavior, originated from the work of Fishbein and Eisen, for instance, in 2005. According to this theory, the intention to act is the single best predictor of the actual pro-environmental behavior. And the higher the intention, the higher the probability of actual behavior. Furthermore, the three additional constructs, personal attitudes toward environmentally friendly or green or low carbon behavior, then subjective norms, and then personal behavioral control, influence the intention to act environmentally friendly. In general, the more favorable the attitudes and norms and the higher the perceived behavioral control, the higher the intention and the likelihood of actual pro-environmental behavior. So over the past decade, the pro-environmental theory of plant behavior has been proven to be a reliable model to explain both students' actual behaviors and intention toward pro-environmental behavior. For example, Leviuk and his colleagues, in their article published in 2015, emphasized that intention explained at least 30% of the variance in actual behavior. Other recent studies also confirm strong predictive power of attention in various situations, such as predicting, for instance, behavior which save energy or reduce the food waste in university canteens in China, or increasing newspaper recycling, or general low-carbon behavior of college students in China, Jordan, and many other countries. Similarly, several studies found also that attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control significantly contribute to students' intentions to, for instance, recycle or purchase fair trade products or reduce carbon footprints. Although the evidence of the significance and strength of the particular construct are inconclusive. So, for instance, the personal attitude has been recognized as usually having stronger impact, while subjective norms usually have weak effect. While the perceived behavioral control usually have significant and positive impact on intentions. Based on this baseline construct of personal attitudes, subjective norms, which can be injective or descriptive or perceived behavioral control, our model added several other constructs. For instance, the impact of the demographic factors is in many studies highlight as significant, and we wanted to check whether these demographic factors add or reduce predictability of the overall model in the creation context. Then also, for instance, recent research of Yus Lisa and the co-authors published in 2020 has shown that environmental awareness, consciousness, or cognition has a significant positive influence on students' attitudes and consequently intentions or behavior. Therefore, we added this construct too. We presume that students aware of the importance of the carbon footprint have stronger low carbon intentions. Ernst and his co-authors in 2017 pointed out that pro-environmental behavior often involves time, effort, or cost. Therefore, we presume that presence of affordable pro-environmental solution or appropriate infrastructure to support pro-environmental behavior in general will increase intentions. Gender, age, education, and disposable income are generally considered significant in explaining low carbon intentions. For example, younger, better educated individuals are more likely to engage in low carbon behavior, while, for instance, some studies support the notion that gender and the field of education had no significant effect on reducing, for example, waste. And some other studies pointed out that higher the disposable income, for instance, the worse the low carbon behavior. All in one, as I said, the evidence, empirical evidence on the impact of the demographic or these adopted variables is so far inconclusive, as well as the impact of the baseline constructs. So for all this reason, our study explores strengths of the both adopted constructs and demographic, as well as the baseline constructs, to the prediction of low carbon intentions of Croatian students. To the best of our knowledge, this study is the first attempt to examine the validity of the pro-environmental theory of planned behavior in the creational context. Our sample is a convenient sample which consists of the 361 respondents, which are students at the Josip Juraj Strossmayer University of Osijek, who are studying natural, technical, social, biotechnological sciences, humanities, or interdisciplinary sciences. The data was collected using the computer-assisted web interviewing method during March and April 2021. The questionnaire was incorporated with the 3 groups of questions related to low carbon awareness and behavior incentives, the elements of the theory of planned behavior, and social demographic characteristics of the respondents. Pro-environmental constructs from the theory of planned behavior were adopted from the Lev and his co-authors from their articles published in 2014 and 2015. Carbon footprint awareness was adopted from the LIN and an article published in 2016. Measurement construct used to assess incentives for low carbon behavior and the perception of carbon footprint importance were developed particularly for these studies by the authors. We have used hierarchical regression analysis to assess the ability of pre-selected independent variables to predict the intention to undertake low carbon behavior. This form of multiple linear regression allows us a certain level of control over predictor variables and is used to explore whether adding additional variables to a model significantly improves its ability to predict dependent variables. Therefore, we actually tested 3 models. Each subsequent model adds a number of the descriptors. The results of our study, the main results are presented in this table. So we see that we had tested 3 models with a different set of variables, adding in each model a number of new variables. So we started with, for instance, demographic variable, and our results suggest that all pre-selected demographic variables have significant effect on the student's intention. However, despite that, the model explains only 8.5% of variability in intentions. In the next step, in the model 2, the additional variables, the baseline variables of the ProEnvironmental Theory of Planned Behavior, significantly increases the predictive power of the model. The model 2 explains the almost 45% of the variance on intentions, which is significant improvement over model 1. And finally, in the third step, 3 adopted variables, the construct for awareness, incentives, and importance, were added to the model 3. All of them significantly influence students' intention toward low carbon behavior, and the model 3 predictors actually explain 52% of the variance in intentions, which is again significant improvement over the model 2. Our results indicate a significant but negligible impact of demographic characteristics on intentions. In Croatian setting, all the students, especially those with business experience and wealthier financial situation, have higher lower carbon intentions, which is opposite to the previous research. The baseline theory of planned behavior predictors have positive but mainly weak influence on intention, with perceived behavioral control proved as the strongest component. Variables of extended theory of planned behavior model have the strongest effect. Particularly, this is true for incentives and awareness. To summarize, the predictive power of the extended pro-environmental theory of planned behavior model is moderate, explaining cumulatively 52% of the variance in intention. The main point from our research is that carbon footprint awareness, incentives for low carbon behavior, and perceived behavioral control appear to be the most important predictors of individuals' intentions to undertake action that will reduce carbon footprint in or among Croatian university students. Which brings us to the conclusion of the presentation. We can say that theories of environmental behavior show that green or low carbon behavior can be influenced by a variety of factors, including the demographic, psychological, or social economic factors. Increasing awareness of carbon footprints play an important role in low carbon behaviors. Therefore, formal curriculum of higher education should be focused on low carbon and sustainable future. However, such a program are still in its infancy in Croatia. Therefore, higher educational institutions should more strongly promote environmentally friendly behaviors and enable students to cultivate environmentally friendly beliefs, values, and attitudes that would last a lifetime. As all studies, our approach has a number of the limitations. We would like to have more representative sample, bigger sample, which will allow us to include more influencing factors in the model. And we would also like to have, for instance, more standardized instruments measuring construct in the study, because comparison of our results with the previous research is only tentative, since previous research does not use the same instruments as we did. There are a number of the predictors that were not considered in this study, including, for instance, university setting or intrapersonal influence, such as a sense of responsibility and caring, ability to think strategically, and so on. So the future research should address these influences, and future research should also consider direct, indirect, or mediating effect between the influencing factors. Also, we are aware that there is a gap between the students' intentions and their actual behavior. So in the future, we would like to explore in more details by using, for instance, the calculation of actual carbon footprints, the relationship between the intention toward low carbon behavior and actual low carbon behavior. With this remark, I would like to thank you for your attention and conclude my presentation. Before ending this presentation, I would also like to thank the Croatian Science Foundation for supporting this research and our project. Please address all your comments or inquiries on either one of these 3 emails that I am showing in the final slide. Once again, thank you all for your attention and goodbye.